deep in the African jungle, where no white man has ever returned alive, there exists a city that should not exist, a city of ancient stone and darker magic, a city ruled by a queen whose beauty is matched only by her cruelty, and whose power comes from a source that predates humanity itself. Solomon Kane, Puritan wanderer and slayer of evil, has faced demons, vampires, and the darkest corners of the human soul, but nothing has prepared him for what awaits in the lost city of Nagari. Here, beneath a blood-red moon, thousands of skulls line the walls. Here, slaves are fed to monstrous creatures. Here, a queen plays games with men's souls, while an ancient evil watches from the shadows. Kane came to Africa seeking a kidnapped girl. What he found was a nightmare older than civilization itself. Welcome to the Moon of Skulls, Robert E. Howard's tale of sword, sorcery, and the eternal battle between righteousness and the abyss. Part 1. The Trail of Blood. Solomon Kane walks alone through the African wilderness, as he has walked alone for years. He is a tall, lean man dressed entirely in black. Black hat, black cloak, black boots. At his side hang a rapier and 2 pistols. On his face is carved the mark of a man who has seen hell and refuses to look away. Kane is not in Africa for glory or gold. He follows a darker trail, the trail of slavers who have kidnapped Marilyn Taffarel, the daughter of an English settler. While others assume the girl is dead or lost forever, Kane knows better. He has learned that she was taken deep into the interior, to a place even the coastal tribes fear to name. For months, Kane has tracked the slavers through jungle and swamp. One by one, he has found them, and one by one, he has killed them. But the girl remains missing, taken farther inland to a destination the dying slavers speak of only in whispers, the kingdom of Nagari. The tribes Kane encounters along the way warn him. No man returns from Nagari, they say. The Queen of Darkness rules there. She feeds men to her gods. Kane's response is always the same. I go where evil dwells. He presses deeper into territory no European has ever mapped. The jungle grows denser, darker, more hostile. The sounds of normal animals fade, replaced by stranger cries, things that sound almost human, but not quite. Then, one night, Kane's camp is attacked. They come silently, warriors painted for war, carrying weapons of bronze and stone. But these are not ordinary tribesmen. Their eyes are glassy, their movements mechanical. They fight without fear, without pain, like men already dead. Kane's pistols roar in the darkness. His rapier flashes. He cuts down attackers with brutal efficiency, but more keep coming. Finally, a blow from behind knocks him unconscious. When Solomon Kane wakes, he is a prisoner, and his real nightmare has just begun. Part 2. The City of Death. Kane awakens in chains, being dragged through a massive stone gateway. Above the gate, hundreds of human skulls are embedded in the walls, their empty eyes watching the road below. This is Nagari, the City of Skulls. The city is ancient beyond reckoning. The architecture is not African, not European, not like anything Kane has ever seen. Massive pyramids rise above stone buildings. Pillars carved with writhing, inhuman shapes line the streets. And everywhere, on every wall, every gate, every tower, are skulls. Thousands upon thousands of skulls. Kane and other prisoners are herded through crowds of silent, staring people. The citizens of Nagari are strange, a mix of African tribes, but also others who look nothing like the surrounding peoples. Their eyes hold a terrible emptiness, as if their souls have been hollowed out. They are brought before the palace, a structure of dark stone that seems to drink in the light. Guards in bronze armor march them through corridors lined with torches that burn with an eerie green flame. Finally, they enter the throne room, and there, on a throne of bones, sits Nakari, the queen of Nagari. She is beautiful in a way that makes Kane's skin crawl. Her face is perfect, ageless, but her eyes are ancient and cold as death itself. She wears robes of crimson and gold, and a crown fashioned from human finger bones. At her feet coil massive serpents, their scales glinting like metal. But it's not the queen that makes Kane's blood run cold. It's the thing standing behind her throne, a figure in a hooded robe, tall and impossibly thin, its face hidden in shadow. Even without seeing its face, Kane knows with absolute certainty that this thing is not human, has never been human. The queen speaks, her voice like honey mixed with poison. Another white man comes to die in Nagari. Tell me, fool, why did you come here? Kane meets her gaze without flinching. I seek a girl, an English girl taken by slavers. Give her to me, and I will leave your cursed city. Nakari laughs, a sound like breaking glass. The white girl, she lives. She serves me now, as you will serve me. All who come to Nagari serve in the end. She gestures, and guards drag Kane away to the slave pens beneath the palace. There, in the darkness and filth, he meets other prisoners, men from a dozen tribes, all waiting to be sacrificed to whatever dark gods Nagari worships. But Solomon Kane does not wait for death. He plans. Part 3. Beneath the pyramids that night, Kane works his chains loose. He has done this before, in Turkish prisons, in Spanish dungeons, in places far worse than these. His hands may be bound, but his will is iron. He creeps through the dark passages beneath the palace, searching for Marilyn. What he finds instead is far worse. A massive underground chamber lit by those same green flames. In the center stands a pyramid of human skulls, fresh skulls, still dripping. Around it, robed priests chant in a language that hurts Kane's ears, a language that seems to twist reality itself. And there, chained to an altar, is a girl, but not Marilyn. This girl is African, young, screaming in terror as the priests approach with bronze knives. Kane has seen enough. He attacks. His stolen sword cuts through the first priest before they even know he's there. The others turn, surprised that a mere slave would dare interrupt their ritual. They learn their mistake quickly. Kane fights like a demon, his Puritan fury unleashed in that evil place. But then the thing happens that turns Kane's blood to ice. The hooded figure from the throne room appears, simply materializes in the chamber as if stepping through invisible doors. It raises one skeletal hand, and Kane feels his muscles lock. He cannot move, cannot breathe. The figure speaks, and its voice is like wind through a graveyard. You are strong, white man, stronger than most. You will make an excellent vessel. Kane is dragged away, paralyzed, understanding now the truth of Nagari. This is not just a city of slaves and sacrifice. This is something far older, far darker, a place where ancient forces still feed on human souls. He's thrown into a deeper cell, one carved with symbols that make his head swim. And there, in the corner, he finally finds her, Marilyn Taffarel, alive, but changed. Her eyes are empty, her face slack. She stares at Kane without recognition, like a living corpse. Whatever Queen Nakari has done to her, it has stolen something essential. Her will, her self, her soul. Kane realizes with horror that this is the fate awaiting him, not death, something worse. to be hollowed out, made into a puppet, forced to serve this evil for eternity. For the first time in years, Solomon Kane feels fear. Part 4. The Queen's Secret. Kane is brought before Queen Nakari again. This time, he is alone with her in her private chambers, a room of silk and shadows, where the serpents coil around pillars and the walls seem to breathe. "You interest me, Solomon Kane," she says, circling him like a predator. "Most men break quickly, some fight, but you carry something different, a light in the darkness, a faith that burns." She traces a finger along his jaw. Her touch is cold as death. "I could use a man like you, strong, unyielding. There are other cities, other kingdoms that resist my rule. You could lead my armies. You could have wealth, power, immortality." Kane's response is simple. "I serve God, not demons." Nakari's beautiful face twists with rage. "God! Your God is nothing here. This land belonged to us before your God was even dreamed of. We built empires when your ancestors were still cowering in caves." And then she tells him the truth. Nagari is old, older than Egypt, older than Babylon. It was built by a race that existed before humans, beings of terrible power who ruled through sorcery and blood sacrifice. When those beings finally died out or fled to other realms, they left behind their knowledge, their magic, and their servants. The hooded figure, the skull face, as Nakari calls, it is one of those servants. It is not alive and not dead, existing in the spaces between. It feeds on souls, consuming them to maintain its immortal existence. For thousands of years, it has ruled Nagari through puppet queens, feeding on the endless stream of slaves and captives. Nakari herself was once a tribal princess who sold her soul for power and eternal youth. Now she serves the skull face, providing it with victims, maintaining the dark rituals that keep it anchored to this world. "Tomorrow," she says, her voice returning to its honeyed tone, "you will be taken to the temple of the moon. There, beneath the red moon, you will be given to the skull face. And your strong soul, your burning faith, it will feed him for 100 years. Kane is dragged back to his cell, but now he knows what he faces, not just a cruel queen or an evil city, but an ancient force that has survived for millennia by consuming human souls. And somehow he must destroy it. Part 5. The moon rises. The next night, the moon rises red over Nagari, the moon of skulls, when the dark gods are closest to the mortal world. Kane and a dozen other prisoners are led up the Great Pyramid at the city's center. At the summit stands the skull face, waiting. The air around it shimmers with wrongness. Reality seems to bend in its presence. Queen Nakari watches from her throne, surrounded by her enslaved warriors. The entire city has gathered to watch the sacrifice. Thousands of empty-eyed souls watching their own former humanity being consumed. But Solomon Kane has spent his last hours in prayer and preparation. He has recovered his weapons, sword, pistols, and most importantly, the strange African amulet given to him by a juju man months ago. The old man said it held power against things that should not be. As the ritual begins, Kane makes his move. His pistols roar, cutting down the priests. His sword flashes, freeing the other prisoners. Chaos erupts on the pyramid. Kane charges toward the skull face, knowing that if this creature dies, its spell over Nagari will break. The thing extends its skeletal hand, and Kane feels that paralyzing force again. But this time, he clutches the amulet. It burns against his chest, and the paralysis shatters. They clash, Man against monster, sword against sorcery. The skull face summons shadows that grab at Kane's limbs. Kane cuts through them with cold iron. The creature speaks words that crack the stone beneath their feet. Kane responds with prayers that seem to cause it physical pain. The battle rages across the pyramid summit. Below, the freed prisoners fight the guards. Queen Nakari shrieks commands that no longer hold power, her control breaking as her master weakens. Finally, Kane drives his sword through the skullface's chest. The creature shrieks, a sound that shatters windows across the city. Its robes collapse, revealing not flesh, but shadows and smoke, a thing that was never truly solid. As it dies, its death scream releases all the souls it has consumed. A wave of invisible force sweeps across Nagari. The enslaved people suddenly gasp, their eyes clearing, seeing themselves and their city as if for the first time. Queen Nakari, without the skullface's power, ages 1,000 years in seconds. She crumbles to dust even as she screams. The ancient evil is broken. Nagari is free. As dawn breaks over the city of skulls, Kane leads the survivors out. Marilyn Taffaral walks beside him, her soul restored, though the memory of her captivity will haunt her forever. Behind them, Nagari burns. The freed prisoners have set fire to the temples, the pyramids, the throne room. The skulls that line the walls fall and shatter. An ancient evil, one that survived for thousands of years by consuming human souls, is finally destroyed. Solomon Kane walks away from the flames, his black cloak billowing in the smoke. He has done what he came to do. He has faced the darkness and prevailed. But he knows his wandering is not over. Evil exists in many forms, in many places. As long as darkness threatens the innocent, Solomon Kane will walk his lonely road, bringing Puritan justice to the wicked and ancient terror alike. Robert E. Howard's Moon of Skulls is more than an adventure. It's a confrontation with cosmic horror, where one man's unwavering faith becomes the only weapon against forces that predate humanity itself. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this journey into darkness, please subscribe for more tales of horror and heroism from the pulp era. Until next time, may your path be lit by righteousness, and may you face evil with the courage of Solomon Kane.